Hi, I'm Nadia Jordana. It's Sunday afternoon and I'm going to do something really fun today. I'm going to make homemade fermented kombucha tea. I started with a gallon of water, 8 bags of green tea, a cup and a quarter of raw sugar, steeped that, and I'm going to put that into my brewing jar. And as you can see here on the jar, this happens to be a jar with a spigot. You don't need to use one like this. You can use a jar like this one. And later on, when your tea is ready, you can use a siphon hose to bottle your tea. That's a different method. I will be using that next time. This method is the continuous brew method, where once your tea is ready, you'll be able to draw it off the bottom into a glass using the spigot, adding more tea to the top and allow it to ferment a few more days, and then you've got a fresh batch of kombucha tea. Okay, let's move on to step 2. I've set my spigot jar into its holder. Again, that's an optional piece of equipment, but I like it for the continuous brew method. The tea that I put in here was room temperature. That's very important. You cannot put the hot tea in here or it will kill off the growing bacteria and it'll destroy the whole process. So anyway, the next step is to put in the SCOBY, symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast is what I believe it's supposed to mean. And I have one right here that I made up myself. In fact, let's take a look at it. I started this about 10 days ago using a half a bottle of store-bought kombucha tea and a brewed cup of sweetened green tea. Let it sit on the counter until I've grown the mother, the SCOBY. And let's look at it. You aren't going to be able to see it very clearly. This is it. It goes into the fresh batch to float there on the top, and it will cause the fermentation to happen over the next week, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. It just really depends upon the temperature of the room that we're in. Oh, and something I nearly forgot, the liquid from the brewed SCOBY mother that I just made also goes into the brew jar, including any funny bits that are in there. It's very important. I will cover with a coffee filter is what I use and a rubber band. It needs to breathe. Later on in the day today, I will cover this with a dark cloth because really it needs to be in the dark. It could be in a dark cupboard or other place, but I just leave it on the counter, drape it in the dark cloth, keep the room at about the right temperature that we need. Somewhere between 70 and 85 degrees is ideal for brewing kombucha tea. A couple of the other pieces of equipment I want to show you. I showed you this large jar with the hose for siphoning if you want to bottle that way. I use an aquarium thermometer to help me determine the temperature of the tea, and also to test my kombucha from time to time to see that it's at the right temperature. When it does come time for bottling, you can use different things. You can buy brand new things or you can use recycled bottles that you've had water in. I love using kombucha bottles. They can be reused. Plastic is also, food grade plastic is also okay for brewing your tea in like that. A smaller batch could be done in this glass jar like this works. Anything that you have on hand that's clean and usable. So that about wraps it up for today. In about 10 days to 2 weeks, I'll be enjoying freshly brewed, homemade kombucha tea and all of the health benefits that come with it.